Intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability, which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Hello, this is Patricia, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the December issues of the Batavia Daily News on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, starting with the December 12th issue of the Batavia Daily News from the local news section. Health Nonprofit Closes in Batavia by Mike Pettinella. Thank you for calling the Lake Plains Community Care Network. We are currently in the process of closing, and you can call April at Neighborhood Legal Services. Her phone is 585-343-5430, extension 118. I'm sorry for any inconvenience, and I hope you have a great day. That's the voice message awaiting folks who call Lake Plains Community Care Network at 319 West Main Street, Suite 9, Batavia, likely seeking assistance with finding health insurance through the New York State of Health Marketplace. Effective December 31st of this year, LPCCN, which has been in existence since 1997, will be closed. The problem is that the funding that we had from the general organization, the Rural Health Grant, has gone away. Jay Jessel, president of a 10-member local board that oversees the program, said on Thursday afternoon. The only thing that is really left has been the Navigator program, which we have an alternative to provide both Orleans and Genesee County services. The board's decision that we need to go to that alternative so we don't have a disruption in services to the actual recipients of the program for those who were administered into the healthcare plan. The alternative is shifting services to Orleans Community Health at Medina Memorial Hospital, Giselle said. Our two counties, Genesee and Orleans, have a lot of similarity as well as the ability to coordinate not only physically but programmatically, he offered. That was a good alternative because Wyoming County, which is the other part of our Lake Plains Community Care Network, has been doing it on their own anyway through their health department. LPCCN Executive Director Colleen Kiefer acknowledged that funding issues with New York State prompted the board to determine that it wasn't feasible to keep the office open. The state would get behind in reimbursements 3 or 4 months at a time. That's the gist of it, said Kiefer, who started with LPCCN in 2002, but now is forced to seek another job. She said that her 3 employees, Becky Boylan, Tina Wickens, and Jenna Salemi, all New York State certified navigators, have been offered to relocate to the Orleans Community Health Office in Medina. Kiefer said the trio has been working remotely as it didn't make sense to keep the office open and continue to keep paying rent since we were closing. A nonprofit organization, LPCCN, staff linked residents, most of them uninsured or on Medicaid, in Genesee, Orleans, and Wyoming counties with access to quality care specifically through the Affordable Care Act. Kiefer said they had a client base of close to 5,000 individuals. One of our navigators worked with all 3 jails, Wyoming, Orleans, and Genesee County, Kiefer said, and she worked with the public defender in Genesee County and really closely with Genesee County Mental Health to enroll their clients. The April referred to in the phone message is April Annawald, a New York State certified navigator and paralegal with Neighborhood Legal Services, 45 Main Street, Batavia. Annawald, the only navigator in her office, said her phone has been ringing off the hook in light of LPCCN's closing and also due to it being open enrollment period. NLS, funded by a grant through New York State Health, also serves residents of Genesee, Orleans, and Wyoming counties, while Annawald is certified to enroll any resident of New York State. Continuing with the December 12th issue of the Batavia Daily News from the front page, winter racing will start in January at Batavia Downs by Mike Pettinelli. Winter racing at Batavia Downs is a go. The 8-day season will start January 13th. WROTB President/Chief Executive Officer Byron Brown confirmed Thursday following successful negotiations with the Western New York Harness Horsemen's Association. The WOTB Board of Directors, at its monthly meeting, authorized Brown to finalize a legal agreement with the Horsemen's Association. We met the board, and the board certainly demonstrated a strong commitment to harness racing and have charged me and the senior staff to negotiate with the horsemen, Brown said. The negotiations to extend winter racing went very smoothly. The horsemen were very cooperative, and we were able to reach an agreement to continue winter racing at Batavia Downs. Frequent cancellations last year prompted WROTB management to think twice about winter racing in 2026. The matter was discussed Wednesday during committee meetings. Brown said he believes the new agreement will address some of those concerns. Certainly, our primary concern was the stress that places on staff in a variety of different capacities. We've made some changes to address that, he said. The Western New York HHA will reimburse the Western Regional Off-Track Betting Corporation for all costs associated with additional race dates. In 2025, the WNYHHA paid $409,000 for 15 winter dates in 2025. The costs for 2026 are unknown at this point, with WROTB billing the organization as needed. We will be reimbursed for any costs, Brown said. Some costs were not captured in past years. We were able to notify the horsemen of the additional costs, and they agreed to the additional costs as well. Winter racing will take place on Tuesday and Thursdays through February 5th. Post times will be 3 p.m. WROTB Communications Director Mike DeGeorge said management switched the days from Monday and Thursday to Tuesdays and Thursdays for a reason. To Brown's point about working and concerns of the staff, that will help them in that if we have a snowstorm, a lot of snow over the weekend, that will give them more time to get ready for Tuesday rather than to have to turn around and have Monday racing, he said. Batavia Downs has 3 more horse racing dates on the current meet schedule, December 13th, 17th, and 20th, all with a 5 p.m. post time. The Daily News has reached out to Michael Torselli, WNYHHA Administrator, for comment. Continuing with the Batavia Daily News for December 12th from the opinion page. High suicide rate among seniors is a tragedy. The following editorial is from the Seattle Times. While many people will be enjoying the next few weeks surrounded by friends and family, many of our neighbors will be isolated, especially those in their senior years. This isolation can contribute to depression and other disorders, which in turn can contribute to the rising levels of suicide or suicide attempts among the senior population. A Seattle Times report revealed that Washington seniors 70 and older have experienced an uptick in the number of deaths by suicide over the last few years, while younger age groups have seen a drop in the number and rate of suicides. In fact, nationally, Americans 75 and older had the highest rate of suicide of any age group in 2021 and 2022, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And the number of men in this age group died by suicide twice as often as males aged 15 to 24. This should alarm all of us, especially this time of year when holidays can be emotional, stressful, and, for some, depressing. There are several contributing factors to those statistics. Isolation and grief are just 2. A study by AARP found that 1 in 3 women over 60 reported feeling sometimes or often lonely, and about a quarter of them said they sometimes or often feel isolated. For those who attempt and those who die by suicide, many feel their lives are over. Spouses have died, children are gone, and they are cut off from the world and are very lonely and alone, said Ronnie Cunningham, a licensed psychologist. Coping with grief can also affect seniors differently, especially during the holidays, said Sherry Blake, a licensed clinical psychologist and content creator for AARP. Grief doesn't have to take a break during the holidays. That should be grief doesn't take a break during the holidays. Holidays are full of sights and sounds and smells and rituals that awaken deep memories and emotional responses, Blake said. When you're grieving, all of your emotional triggers are on high alert. Here are some ways you can help your neighbors, friends, and other seniors in your life navigate isolation and grief. First, check in, call, or check up and visit seniors in your life. Next, introduce yourself to elderly neighbors and develop relationships with whatever boundaries you desire to set. Next tip, help make them feel useful. Late in life transitions, retirement, deaths can make people feel useless. Seek their advice, invite them to dinner, and have them prepare a dish. Feeling useful helps, Cunningham said. Next tip, learn to recognize depression and offer resources to those in need. Seek treatment when you notice there is an interference in that person's functioning, said Blake. And take care of yourself as well. Prepare for your own social life before your senior years, just as you prepare financially. Turning to the December 13th issue of the Batavia Daily News, from the front page. A Standard of Excellence, WROTB Board Chair says strategic plan starts now, by Mike Patinella. The chairman of the Western Regional Off-Track Betting Corporation Board of Directors is calling for a standard of excellence that doesn't have to wait for a strategic plan to be implemented. Even before a 14-member committee begins its work to chart the corporation's course, Dennis Bassett, during board meetings on Wednesday and Thursday, let it be known that directors, management, and staff should accept nothing less than top-notch services in all areas for their customers. Particularly, he said he was not impressed with the valet parking service being provided by Mass Park Incorporated, doing business at Valet Park of America, which has a contract with WROTB extending through February 28, 2027. For $350,000, the annual cost of the contract, I think we need to evaluate the service, Bassett said, noting he has issues with the amount of time needed to retrieve customers' vehicles and other things he declined to mention. Replying to a suggestion to put more people on during busier times, Bassett said, we need to determine what is a reasonable wait time. I shouldn't be waiting 30 minutes to get my car, and we shouldn't have to pay additional money to get my car, he said. There are expectations that I have, a standard of excellence. WROTB doesn't charge its customers for the valet service, but that isn't the point, said Director Paul Bartow, who represents Schuyler County. Are we, WROTB, getting what we pay for, he asked. From a strategic planning perspective, we need to give them the best service we can give. After it was noted that customers will hold the corporation, specifically President/Chief Executive Officer Byron Brown, accountable for a poor service, directors asked management to speak with representatives of the valet company about their concerns. Strategic Planning Committee formed. Bartow, appointed to lead the Public Benefit Company's Strategic Planning Committee, said the four-phase project will require input from every department to create a shared vision that includes the board, management, and staff members as well. The committee also includes Directors Bassett, Ed Morgan, Terry Baxter, Vince Horrigan, and Crystal Rodriguez-Dabney, and senior executives/managers Byron Brown, Steve Casey, Raymond Cook, Zachary Elliott, Danielle Fleming, Ryan Hausenauer, Scott Kedrowski, and Sean Schiano. It kind of points to the future, which hopefully will be successful for us as a corporation and will sustain and make everyone better, Bartos said. We have expectations and hopefully we'll meet those expectations, but the process alone is going to be a guiding process in making us work better and stronger as a team. He said he expects the committee's work to be completed by April. WROTB has hired True North Executive Solutions, based in Webster, to assist in developing the strategic plan. Christina Gullo is the person who will be heading that up. I find her to be very good and on target, so she'll keep us on target, Bartos said. There's going to be a lot of work ahead of us, and we'll have to stay on track, essentially because we have a pretty tight time frame. Bartos said Gullo will draft an outline of the process and that the committee will provide periodic updates to the board. Contacted on Friday afternoon, Bardo elaborated on the four phases and on the primary strategic areas the committee will be exploring. The phases really pertain to the process, and they are setting goals and objectives, analyzing our current condition, setting guidelines or directions on which to follow, and approval and implementation of these strategies, he said. Bardo said the committee is prioritizing a potential expansion of the hotel at Batavia Downs in conjunction with the construction of a large event center, acquiring new gaming platforms such as iGaming and sports betting, and creating more programming, including raising the level of live concerts to include major performers. We're not just looking at what other gaming venues are doing, but we're seeking to differentiate from the others and to be unique in what we can offer, he said. Our goal is to stand apart from what others are doing. Hiring recruitment policy changes. WROTB Associate Counsel John Owens reported on changes to the corporation's personnel and ethics policy pertaining to the filling of vacancies, which later were approved by the board. The changes define the term relative to include aunt, uncle, niece, nephew, and cousin. And, said Owens, we spelled out that it includes brothers-in-law, sons-in-law, daughters-in-law, so that there is no question as to which side it is on. It's still applicable. Owens was asked if these changes were prompted by the recent hiring of Brown's brother-in-law to a security position at Batavia Downs Gaming. That might have led to some of the discussion, but it was a policy that we have looked at and have been looking at for a number of months. And we're going to be looking at the other portion, recruitment, which we will be looking to redo that entire policy, he said. Another change in the policy deals with the final approval for hiring, he said. We took a look at the recruitment piece and added language that if the president and chief executive officer should decide to fill the position with someone other than a candidate recommended by the position's supervisor, the action will be referred to the Personnel Committee for approval. He said, we thought this made it much clearer and much easier to deal with. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Batavia Daily News on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, continuing with the Daily News for December 13th from the local news section. Attica native honored for writing. Bruton is Public Relations Director at Frontier. The Frontier Central School District Board of Education recognized Bill Bruton during its November board meeting. Bruton, the district's public relations director, captured 2 awards in the Excellence in Writing category for 2025 in the New York School Public Relations Association's 46th Annual Communications Contest. One of his articles was about a Frontier High School student building a bionic hand from scratch. The other was about a team of Frontier seniors who were selected to participate in a prestigious NASA workshop in Texas. Bruton, an Attica native and Attica High School graduate, earned his bachelor's degree in journalism from Buffalo State College, now university. He came to Frontier from the University at Buffalo, where he was a writer for UB's medical school, the Jacobs School of Medicine and Biomedical Sciences. Bruton is also a former sports editor at the Daily News. He and his wife, Kristen, reside in Lancaster. Frontier, a large suburban school district that encompasses part of the town of Hamburg and several surrounding communities, is home to 7 schools and more than 4,300 students. Drought remains stubborn in Glow region. Area sees no improvement in status, by Matt Sertle. Last week's snow and rain did little to improve the drought and dryness gripping the Glow region. All 4 counties remained in a moderate drought or were abnormally dry as of Tuesday, according to the U.S. Drought Monitor's weekly update. No changes were observed in western New York as a whole. Statistics included the vast majority of Genesee County remains in a moderate drought with 0.17% of its surface area near the Erie County border classified as abnormally dry. All of Livingston County remains in a moderate drought. A total of 72.26% of Orleans County is in a moderate drought compared to 77.32% the previous week. The remainder is abnormally dry. A total of 75.69% of Wyoming County is in a moderate drought compared to 76.79% of the previous week. The remainder is abnormally dry. Drought and dryness ratings are determined based on precipitation, stream levels, soil moisture levels, and similar factors. Even if an area receives some rain or snow, it may take time and accumulation to recover from a significant precipitation deficit. All of Chautauqua County is now listed at normal precipitation levels. The majority of Cattaraugus County has returned to normal, with 28.65%, mostly surrounding the Allegheny River, listed as abnormally dry. A total of 73.66% of Erie County is listed as abnormally dry compared to 80.32% the previous week. The remainder is at normal precipitation levels except for 0.19% near the Genesee County border, which remains in a moderate drought. The vast majority of New York, including the Glow region, remains under a New York State drought watch, which recommends people conserve water voluntarily. The only portions of the state not under the drought watch status as of Friday were Westchester County and the New York City area. The Batavia Daily News for December 16th, from the front page. Stream U.S. submits SEQR application for 2.2 million square foot data center at Stamp, by Mike Pettinella. Stream U.S. data centers want more than 1 million additional square feet of space for its data center at Western New York Science and Technology Advanced Manufacturing Park in the town of Alabama. According to documents submitted on Friday to the Genesee County Economic Development Center by the Dallas, Texas-based real estate company Project Double Reed, as it has been called, would cover 90 acres at the Stamp site. This is up from the 59.2 acres requested in an original application that was rescinded by the GCEDC after it learned of Stream U.S. Data Center's intention to build a larger facility. The revised parcel description is a 60-acre parcel, which they were looking at before, and then a 30-acre parcel, which is the plug power parcel. They want to put an additional building on the plug property, said GCEDC President / Chief Executive Officer Mark Massey on Friday night. Last month, Plug Power announced that it was backing away from building a green hydrogen plant at Stamp. Massey said the data center campus would consist of 3 two-story buildings instead of the original 2 two-story buildings, resulting in a total footprint of 2.2 million square feet, significantly more than the 900,000 square feet originally proposed. This is just an application to begin the SEQR, that's State Environmental Quality Review process, Massey said, referring to the first several pages of an 111-page document from Stream U.S. Data Centers that includes a project description and technical summaries and exhibits. He said the GCEDC was lead agency when the initial environmental impact statement was prepared and has been lead agency for every project. Part of this process is what's called reestablishing yourself as lead agency, where you send out notice letters to interested and involved agencies seeking to reestablish yourself, he said. That's what the resolution would do on Thursday, if approved. GCEDC directors will consider the SEQR request at its stamp committee and full board meetings at 3:30 and 4:30 p.m. respectively on December 18th at the MedTech Center on MedTech Drive across from Genesee Community College. If the resolution passes, it sets the reestablishment of the GCEDC as lead agent for SEQR purposes, Massey said. Then we would begin our review of the application, probably entailing questions back to the applicant requiring more details. And then, as part of our SEQR review, we would compare the application against the EIS as to what was previously approved for development at the site to see if it is within those parameters of what was already reviewed, he explained. Interested agencies include the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, Department of Transportation, the Town of Alabama, and other federal and state entities. Massey said that public meetings and hearings would take place over the course of several months. In its project description, Stream U.S. Data Centers officials stated that as a leading partner to world-class tech companies, our company is developing this facility to meet their exacting needs, and this project is being undertaken in direct collaboration with a prominent existing tenant, a Fortune 500 company with an S&P credit rating of at least AA-. The description states that the data center will generate 120 permanent jobs for skilled trade professionals to maintain critical equipment, oversee IT support, and provide physical security and day-to-day assistance in office-like environments. The company also states that it will be utilizing advanced energy strategies, efficient water usage, and acoustic mitigation measures, along with an architectural design that enhances the site through landscape, building fenestration, and material detailing. Continuing with the Batavia Daily News for December 16th. New York Farm Bureau conducts annual convention. The New York Farm Bureau has announced upcoming priorities after its 2025 statewide convention. More than 450 people and nearly 70 sponsors attended the three-day event that ended December 4th, NYFB officials said in a news release. The theme for this year's convention was Navigating Your Ag Future. It brought together members, agribusinesses, and thought leaders to collaborate, exchange ideas, examine emerging trends, promote the agriculture industry, and more. American Farm Bureau Federation President Zippy Duval attended the event to join a town hall with NYFB President David Fisher, in which the presidents discussed top priorities for Farm Bureau and fielded member questions. Duval also delivered an inspirational speech to members of young farmers and ranchers in attendance, underscoring the importance of engaging young people and training them to be the leaders of the next agricultural generation. Maureen Bellatori, founder and CEO of creative group Agency 29, was the keynote speaker. She provided an overview of artificial intelligence with useful tools and tips for members to take back to the farm. Morgan Walker, Managing Director of Brand Marketing Communications at AFBF, presented a talk on achieving healthy outcomes for America's families and communities. Over the past few years, I've watched our state annual convention grow into a banner event for members and agriculture partners across the state, Fisher said. Delegates engage in grassroots policy process. The state annual meeting is a full day of policy review. It brought together delegates from 50 county farm bureaus to engage in robust discussions of hundreds of policy issues. Delegates vote on policy provisions or positions for which New York's Farm Bureau advocates at the state and federal levels. Highlights of the policy resolutions include support of expanding the definition of farm operation in state law to include nonprofit farms, urban agriculture operations, and hydroponic and aquaponic systems. Support of the promotion of beef consumption in New York schools and public institutions. NYFB also supports legislative development of programs that encourage the continued existence and expansion of beef processing facilities in New York. Support of USDA implementation of a plan to permit vaccination of poultry against highly pathogenic avian influenza, HPAI. Support of agrivoltaics projects that achieve integrated and simultaneous production of both solar energy and marketable agricultural projects. Support of the expansion and improvement of existing nuclear energy facilities to meet growing energy needs. NYFB also supports establishing new nuclear plants or refurbishing older facilities with an emphasis on small modular reactors, provided there is a safe evacuation plan. Opposition of the land application of biosolids that have detectable amounts of per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances, PFAS, and or elevated levels of heavy metals. NYFB supports DEC testing of any sludge or composted sludge, including but not limited to biosolids, paper mill waste, or dredging soils, to determine if they are free of heavy metals, forever toxins, and other DEC-identified toxic substances prior to land application for agriculture or other uses. You're listening to a reading of articles and features from the Batavia Daily News on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Turning to the Batavia Daily News for December 17th from the front page, Albion Christmas Parade Gets Bigger by Brian Quinn. The Charles W. Howard Hometown Parade has been getting bigger, and Susan Osman says it's time for someone new to lead the planning of it. This is our biggest one yet, Osman, the parade committee chairperson, said days after Saturday's event in Albion, which included 38 floats. It's growing. People are talking about it, a lot of social media. It's worked out really well. People thought it was an interesting, fun community event. Oshman said people from places such as Fairport and Greece were on the floats. It's not just local. We get a lot of people, she said. The businesses are taking part. The Albion Merchants Association, the Village DPW, Department of Public Works, really helped out that day. We couldn't have done it without them. The first through third place floats received $600, $400, and $200 respectively. The money from the prizes comes from donations by area businesses. Go Art gives the parade music to use. Bloom's Flower Shop and Gifts was the winner. Eye of Odin Dog Training was in second place, and the Albion FFA chapter was third. The hometown holiday event included a number of activities before the parade. Afterward, there was a movie night with free pizza, cocoa, and candy. Children visited with Santa and Mrs. Claus at Doobie's tailgate. Oshman says she's stepping down as parade committee chairperson to spend more time with family. I've been the chairperson for 4 years. We're actively searching for a new chairperson. I hope we get some younger people involved, she said. Oshman said the parade committee was not the only thing in which she was involved. I was the chairperson for putting basketball courts in Albion at Bullard Park. That was under GACRE, Greater Albion Community Recreation and Events. This past year, we put in pickleball court in the same court. I'm retiring from all of this, she said. Oshman said she was a member of GACRE and chaired the basketball courts and pickleball court projects. I'm hoping the community comes up with some younger people who are just as invested, she said. With the parade growing so much, I just think it would be sad for it to go away, but wonderful for the younger generation to get involved. The parade was renamed for Charles Howard last year. Howard, 1896 to 1966, opened the Santa Claus School in Albion in 1937 and ran it for almost 30 years at his Albion farmhouse. It was the first of its kind, and Howard was considered the dean of the Santa Claus School, the Orleans County Chamber of Commerce said. He was the first nationally televised Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade Santa and held the role for 17 years. The school continues to operate after being moved to Midland, Michigan. Continuing with the front page of the Batavia Daily News for December 17th, Batavia Downs marketers deliver results through direct mail social media outreach by Mike Pettinella. The marketing team at Batavia Downs Gaming is taking the phrase getting to know you to another level. A mix of direct mailing and social media outreach, propelled by artificial general intelligence-driven tools, has generated some impressive numbers when it comes to interaction with established players and potential guests of the Park Road facility, said Ryan Hausenauer, Western Regional Off-Track Betting Corporation Vice President of Business Development. It's all about building trust, he said during a presentation to WROTB senior management staff and board members last week. Hausenauer promotions manager Nick Spirazza and social media manager Angelina Macconi provided an update on the department's direct mail and social media strategies, highlighting significant gains in both areas. On the direct mail front, Hausenauer said that utilization of software provided by San Diego-based Quick Custom Intelligence means that we can sort our best players into categories to mail them offers each month. In December 2024, the marketing team expanded its evaluation process, or benchmarks, to give a more accurate valuation of a particular player and to get more promotional postcards, many offering free play, into players' hands, Hausenauer said. We were able to add roughly 3,000 people to our mailing list, Spirazza noted, adding that the goal is to be cost-effective when mailing the postcards. What that did for the entire year was a huge win-win for us. We were able to decrease our liability, add more people to our mailing lists, increase our net win. All of this stuff was a huge factor in that. Reaching customers directly. Hausenauer said direct mail resonates with our demographic. Plus, we're not just looking at getting people onto the gaming floor, he said. It's the food and beverage aspect of it, staying at the hotel. It's visiting our events and spending money on tickets, and it's visiting the gift shop or taking in live racing. In response to a question about reaching younger people, Hausenauer said that 80% of millennials, when deciding to go to a gaming facility, look at the other amenities that are offered. There's no doubt that young people like to gamble, but they like to gamble in a different way, and they want to make sure there are other things available to them when they do it, he said. When it comes to social media, Macconi said she's trying to cover all the bases by working with influencers and placing organic, free advertising and paid advertising on major platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. We've seen our social media presence grow over the past 2 years, she said. Over time, social media has shifted from being primarily an awareness shield to more of a measurable revenue driver for all of our events, our own on-site, on-property experiences. Macconi said Batavia Downs Gaming's follower account has increased by 250%, with about 15,000 intentional listeners and paid impressions on Facebook and Instagram, reaching more than 16 million. The facility has 51,000 followers on Facebook, 4,400 on Instagram, 5,600 on X, and almost 1,000 on TikTok. All of these platforms are growing. That is my main goal, she said. And our reach goes beyond the followers. 1.5 million page visits, impressions over 79 million, over 2 million video views, tons of interactions, and link clicks, indicating a high intent to purchase. Marconi said Batavia Downs' engagement rate with its audience is much higher than the industry standard. Calling herself an online receptionist, she said she handles about 30 requests from social media users per day and always answers back. Hasenauer pointed out the importance of responding to people's comments. We will engage with them, he said, and that does build trust. And under local news for the Batavia Daily News of December 17th, porch pirates are eyeing your gifts. State offers advice to avoid becoming a victim. It's the holiday season and porch pirates are on the prowl. The New York State Department of State's Division of Consumer Protection is warning people about package thefts and sharing tips on how they can provide and protect themselves from thieves. During the 5-day holiday weekend from Thanksgiving to Cyber Monday, online shopping increased 9% compared to last year, according to the National Retail Federation. The increase in online shopping means more convenience for consumers, but also brings more risk, state officials said. According to the U.S. Postal Service Office of Inspector General's 2025 package theft in the U.S. report, at least 58 million packages were stolen nationwide in 2024, leading to about $1 billion in financial losses. Many consumers have already started or even finished their online holiday shopping for the season and are now waiting for their purchases to be delivered to their doorsteps, said Secretary of State Walter T. Mosley in a news release. While you're getting ready to spread holiday cheer, thieves may be trying to take advantage. If you're expecting deliveries this holiday season, make sure you're taking added precautions and keeping track of your packages to prevent them from being stolen. As people check things off their shopping lists, they're advised to follow these tips to prevent package and identity thefts. Package thefts. Keep track of your packages. Package theft peaks during the holiday season, so keeping track of your deliveries is critical to prevent theft. Delivery companies offer real-time tracking and the option to receive customized alerts so you can stay on top of your holiday shipments once they arrive and retrieve your packages as soon as they're delivered. Schedule deliveries when someone is home. Many online retailers and delivery companies allow consumers to schedule specific delivery timeframes. Choose the timeframe when someone will be home to avoid potential theft. When you are home, closely monitor delivery progress via tracking links and bring the package inside as soon as possible to limit the window of vulnerability. Enlist your neighbor's help. If you're not going to be home, enlist the help of a trusted neighbor. When possible, have your packages delivered to a location where they can be received in person. Monitor your front door and with a security or doorbell camera. While a camera may not deter thieves, the presence of a camera can help you keep track of when packages are delivered so you can retrieve them quickly. If a package is stolen, the video recording of the theft can also be shared with police. Take advantage of the ship-to-store option. Many retailers offer a ship-to-store option. This means that you can order items online and have them sent to a local brick-and-mortar store. You can then pick up your purchases at a time convenient to you. Consider alternate delivery options. Most delivery companies have alternate pickup and delivery options available. Some include redirecting packages to a local merchant partner or holding packages at their location. Do some research by visiting their websites to explore your options and update your delivery preferences. If you know you're going to be on vacation, request a vacation hold on all shipments. Opt for other services. If you're doing most of your shopping online, consider alternative delivery options like Package Locker, Lockbox, or Smart Locker. Many retailers and delivery companies are increasing these services in multiple areas throughout New York State. Beware of phishing attempts. Another common scam this time of year is scammers using phishing emails and text messages to impersonate delivery companies such as UPS, USPS, and FedEx. They may also try to impersonate banking and credit card companies and other large retailers, which often include links to sites attempting to steal your information. Common attempts include suspicious links. These messages often look legitimate, but if you click the link, your usernames and passwords for your online banking, email, or social media accounts can be compromised. Always open a browser and type the company's website address yourself instead of clicking on a link. Request for personal information. You receive an unexpected text from a delivery driver or a post office asking you to verify your address. If you call a number from an unsolicited message, you will then be asked to confirm your personal information and may be asked to provide credit card information to pay a delivery fee. If you did not recently order a product, the caller may try to convince you the package is a gift from a friend or family member. In either scenario, the package does not exist. Providing your personal information to a scammer puts you at risk of falling victim to identity theft. People are encouraged to report stolen packages immediately. Retailers may offer a partial or full refund if your package was stolen, but state officials said you must follow up with the retailer as quickly as possible to initiate this process. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Batavia Daily News on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Turning to the Daily News for December 18th from the front page. City Church Hands Out Toys Tells the Reason for the Season by Brian Quinn. City Church Pastor Ryan McDonald asks families to sit down on the gym floor at St. Anthony's Tuesday night. At least 3,000 toys sat on the stage, by the pastor's estimation, waiting for children to claim them as part of the church's annual event. We're so blessed by the Lord to be able to have a night like tonight, McDonald said. We have a list of about 20 sponsors who sponsored the night. From our church family, all of the toys, all of the bikes were purchased today from Walmart. The church has plenty of volunteers who assisted on the busy day Tuesday. Kids lined up and were able to pick a toy after McDonald talked to them about what Christmas is about. Some, like Aubrey Eschenlauer, said they didn't know what they wanted from the range of toys on the stage, bikes lined on one side of the gym. It wasn't completely about toys, though. There was face painting, kids played games, and downstairs family had dinner, which included chili. Once everyone was seated, the pastor said he was grateful that the City Church family always comes together to make nights like this one possible. I want you to know that Christmas is more than a moment like this. Christmas is a message, McDonald said. This is a message. God stepped into our world through Jesus so that we would know him personally. The pastor told families he wanted to make 3 points. The first was that Jesus came into the world because he loves us. The second was that Jesus came to be with us. Jesus didn't stay distant. We don't serve a God who is far off and untouchable and unattainable, McDonald said. We serve a God who that entered our world so that we could live a life with him. McDonald's third point was that Jesus came into the world so people could receive him. A little while before the kids lined up to receive gifts, McDonald said there were more gifts this year than ever before. There was also a chance for people to register to win one of 2 TVs as prizes Tuesday night. McDonald's also said that this Sunday morning, City Church will have a service at its Main Street church and give out gifts to every child. Volunteer Jeff Donahue said City Church and volunteers do this to bless the community. We look to help fill a need in the community and try to bless people. This is the main thing about it, to help people, Donahue said. At this time of year, we endeavor to, as Dickens said, to provide a little meat and drink and means of warmth for people and a little entertainment. Under local news for the December 18th Batavia Daily News. RTS extends supermarket route by Matt Sertle. A service providing free bus rides to the Tops supermarket in Warsaw has been extended 6 months. I'm so glad we were able to extend this shuttle for the residents of Perry to help ensure access to groceries, said CEO Miguel Velasquez of the Regional Transit Service in a news release. Thank you to our partners at TOPS and the Wyoming County Office for the Aging for providing the financial support necessary to continue this important service. The bus rides from the village of Perry were originally announced in November for the holiday season only. The service was set to end December 30th. The shuttle will now run every Tuesday starting January 6th. Buses will arrive 10:45 a.m. at the supermarket and depart at noon for the return to Perry. Stops and schedule include Knitting Hill Apartments, bus departs at 10 a.m., Family Dollar, bus departs at 10:06 a.m., Birchwood Acres Apartments, bus departs 10:14 a.m., Champion Place Apartments, bus departs 10:20 a.m., Silver Lake Apartments, bus departs 10:25 a.m. The village of Perry has been without a supermarket since the Perry Marketplace closed this past March. That left many residents lacking easy grocery shopping access. Those without vehicles could no longer walk to the supermarket. Call 585-786-6050 for more information about the rides or any other RTS service. More information is also available at www.myrts.com. Continuing with local news for December 18th, the Batavia Daily News. The Genesee River Restaurant and Reception Center to close by Dan Fultz. The Genesee River Restaurant and Reception Center announced that it will close its doors at the end of the week. The Mount Morris Dining and Event Center has been an institution in the area for decades, serving dinner and hosting parties, weddings, and conferences. Saturday, December 20th, will be its last day of service. After much consideration and nearly 70 years of serving this community, we have made the difficult decision to close down the business, said owner Patrick Wills in a Facebook post on December 14th. Wills posted a GoFundMe page on December 1st, 2024, called Help Save Our 100-Year-Old Family Legacy, in which he expressed his pride in the business and their family's involvement in the many big moments of people's lives. Over the decades, we've had the honor of serving presidential families, celebrities, local news anchors, and countless community members. We've hosted everything from weddings and anniversaries to milestone birthdays and corporate events, and even a memorable episode of Wife Swap. We've served locals and international guests, and we've witnessed the loyalty of our incredible patrons. This place has become a cornerstone of Livingston County, and we couldn't be prouder of the people we've served and the history we made together. Wills explained the difficulties that the Genesee River Restaurant and Reception Center has faced in current years. The COVID-19 pandemic devastated our operations, leaving us unable to hold large gatherings or offer in-person dinner. We lost out on a crucial RRF grant due to funding running out, and the months of shutdowns, canceled events, and loss of income have taken a significant toll. We've had to adopt a new model, takeout only during that period. and we are still facing financial hurdles that threaten the future of this beloved institution. The competition is fierce now, Wills continued, with new event centers emerging and businesses starting fresh without the burden of past debt. And despite a return to normal, the mounting costs, over $20,000 per month for operational expenses, including mortgage, utilities, taxes, and payroll, are suffocating. Rising interest rates and inflation only add to the pressure, and it's becoming more and more difficult to keep up. To date, the GoFundMe page raised only $430 of the requested $200,000. The property was listed for sale on December 1st, 2025 for $949,900. We would like to thank every one of you for your continued patronage. We know some of you have been loyal customers spanning decades, said Wills on Facebook. Serving this community can only be described as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, said Wills. And wrapping up with a wind advisory in effect through Saturday. A wind advisory has been issued through 1 a.m. Saturday for all of western New York. Winds of 15 to 25 miles per hour with gusts up to 50 miles per hour are expected Thursday afternoon through Thursday night, according to the National Weather Service in Buffalo. West winds on Friday will be 20 to 35 miles per hour with 50 miles per hour gusts. The advisory includes Genesee, Livingston, Orleans, and Wyoming counties. Gusty winds will blow around unsecured objects, including outdoor holiday decorations. NWS forecasters said tree limbs could be blown down and a few power outages may result. Area residents are advised to use extra caution when driving, especially if operating a high-profile vehicle. In the meantime, lake-effect snow is expected Friday in a portion of western New York, especially for the Boston Hills in Erie County and hills in Wyoming and Cattaraugus counties. That could produce blowing and drifting snow with poor visibilities, NWS forecasters said. You've been listening to a reading of articles and features from the December issues of the Batavia Daily News. Your reader has been Patricia. Thank you for listening.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the East Aurora Advertiser. At 11 o'clock, we have the Niagara Gazette. And at noon, we have the Dunkirk Observer. Stay with us for these readings and more throughout the day. Radio Reading mails out a large print program schedule to our listeners every other month. If you have not received a Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service large print program schedule in the mail, please call us at 716-821-5555. We will make sure that you receive one every other month. A Braille version of the schedule is also available upon request. Our number again is 716-821-5555. following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or